So we gotta talk about hashtag save TF2 again. I made a discussion or thread or whatever on Steam, and this is what I said. I titled it hashtag Boycott TF2. This whole sequel to hashtag save TF2 will go nowhere if there's not an extreme emphasis on not buying or selling TF2 items in a way that Valve can profit from it. You have to vote with your wallet. Otherwise, we'll just get another tweet and another set of booth maps and game modes that barely function and die off within a month. And hashtag SaveTF2 wasn't even what made Valve respond in the first place. It was the guy dressed as spy showing up to their offices that made them crap themselves. So the way I see it, we have one of two choices here. A is we all collectively go to Valve HQ and peacefully protest outside the building on public property, which we all know is completely ridiculous, and none of us are going to do that over a video game. And in parentheses I said, and I shouldn't have to say it, but I'm not encouraging anyone to do this. This is obviously a joke. B is to financially deprive Valve from profiting off TF2. Yes, the typical response is, but Valve will stop supporting TF2. Good. That's my response. I'd rather have TF2 be put down behind the shed over being strung along like a desperate woman. I see it either forcing Valve to realize that we will not support their game if we cannot even play it, or forcing Valve to pull the plug. Regardless, even if Valve does pull the plug, TF2 will still be playable. With as much as this game has been archived, reshaped, and redone, this game will continue on. Even if there is no reboot of the vanilla game, there are many source mods that exist that focus on different aspects of the game. So that's all I should have to say. You can give your soy tubers your updates and Reddit goals for being figureheads in another useless push that has proven to achieve nothing substantial. All the while they profit from the publicity, right? So very clearly, I still stick with what I said in my original Save TF2 video. I didn't really have high hopes for the whole thing. I thought it wasn't really going to achieve much, but I didn't know. And, as it turns out, I was right. It didn't really achieve much. And on top of that, I believe that most of the whole YouTuber, SoyTube fucking space around it, they did it for the publicity. They did it to get into the community and all that. That was the whole goal of it, was to weasel their way in. And that, as it turns out, that's literally all it was, because they didn't do anything. They literally just said, "Oh yeah, I support that," and they went about their fucking business, right? So it was extremely unorganized. It didn't do anything, and it's almost as if just doing a hashtag online literally doesn't fucking do anything. And like I said, the only reason why Valve responded in the first place was because the dude dressed up like Spy. Some of the responses in this thread. Let's see here. Some dude said, TF2 forever, no one will stop Valve, or me, a TF2 fan, don't ever stop. It's Steam and its community versus you. What did I say? I said, this isn't an us versus them. Whatever tard war idea you have in your head is preventing you from understanding the point. Hashtag SaveTF2 did not do anything. Repeating it again will achieve the same thing. Just because a YouTuber like Wheezy decided to make a video doesn't mean he's right or even know what he's talking about. His entire point went out the window when he brought up World of Warcraft. One of the main components of that was refusing to pay for an inferior product/service. I say this as someone who has spent years on this game. I played the Xbox 360 version since launch, and on this account I currently have 1,753 hours. I love this game more than any other multiplayer shooter, and there will never be another that can even remotely touch it. What else was it? Somebody else said, the problem is it's inconvenient. A few people are ideologically charged enough to avoid SCM, I'm not even sure what the hell that is, they assume like a TF2 trading website, for the sake of some movement, right? And I responded, responded with, they can just not buy or trade items at all then. If we do this for even a few months, Valve will start to notice, right? Another guy responded with, Valve might take notice if people effectively shut down Deadlock on release. If you just boycott TF2, then the only thing Valve will do is shut the official servers and item servers, right? And I responded with, like I said, it's better to have the game to be put out of its misery instead of being this monster it is now. TF2 will still be playable afterwards. Deadlock, from the way it's currently looking, will die on its own without us having to do anything. It has that Sweet Baby Inc. stank and AI-generated look. On top of that, Valve is using comp pleb input for the game. On top of being a hero shoot 'em MOBA, the game is going to kill itself. Some guy responded to that thing I just said. I swear if TF2 outlives Deadlock, I'm going to have a TF2 themed party for it. Mark my words. What else was it? And my initial response, like I said, it's better to have the game put out of its misery instead of being the monster it is now. Guy responded with, back to hashtag kill TF2, are we? And part about Deadlock, that I said, he said, so what? If a bunch of people review bomb it saying that Valve neglected TF2, so to hell with Deadlock, or any other future Valve multiplayer games, then it might at least wake a few people up to how lousy of a company Valve can be when their attention gets diverted. That is, assuming Deadlock collapses under its own weight, as you assert is inevitable. Right? And, I didn't necessarily say, not to shit on Deadlock, because Deadlock looks like shit, even if it is just an alpha. This looks unacceptable, right? This whole, right now, there's a lot of people who are just hashtag save TF2, hashtag kill TF2. It's this fucking tard war that's going on, and people, they don't fucking get it. It's not an us versus them right now. This is us versus Valve right now. Right? There's a lot of people that genuinely believe that continuing to financially support TF2 is the best way to go and to keep the game alive. Whereas there's a lot of people that say, unironically want TF2 to be shut down. And there's people like me who just want the fucking game to either be put down or to be properly fixed. And the only way, and I promise you, I'm not fucking crazy. I'm not an economist or anything like that. But the only way to get a big company like this to give a shit is to deprive them financially. And I bring this up, right? What was it? So that response that the guy had to the whole kill TF2 and all that, I said, no, personally I prefer TF2 to last as long as possible, hence why I titled this thread hashtag Boycott TF2. The point is to force Valve to actually do something. And the only way to do that, to make any company to do anything, is money. Bud Light, for example, almost immediately dropped the sponsorship to that ghoul they had once people stopped buying their beer. And they have countless other brands under the same company. Bud Light is owned by Anheuser-Busch, the own Budweiser, Bud Light, Goose Island Brewery, Carback Brewing Company, Red Hook Brewery, Artoy Bach, Brickworks Cider, Devil's Backbone Brewing Company, Elysian, and Michelob, etc., etc., etc. They own many, many more. My point is, Bud Light is a drop in the bucket to a monopolistic company like that, yet the boycott almost immediately got results with it. Money talks. And another guy responded, let me guess you watch Zesty. And I just simply said, I've had these opinions before even knowing about Zesty Jesus, but I do find myself agreeing with a lot with what he says, right? So, there's this stupid fucking tard war going on right now in the community, right? And it's fucking ridiculous, absolutely fucking absurd. Initially when the whole shit was going down, I remember I watched Big B, the fluffy redneck, and I completely disagreed with him. He said, "Stop playing the game, stop supporting the game, stop giving Valve your money." I disagreed with him. I was like, well, that's fucking stupid. But now I find myself agreeing with him. And don't get me wrong, I like Big B, the fluffy redneck, as a content creator. But, I now understand where he's coming from. Because, like, when I initially watched that video, I was still, like, a fucking teenager, right? Now, legally an adult, I understand the whole, like, power of the wallet, brother. So, there's not really much I can say. If there's not a severe financial component to this whole thing, then nothing is going to get done. And I'll say this to make a point. I'm not saying I'm going to do this, but I want to prove a point. I was considering, not that I am doing it, but I was considering deleting my entire TF2 inventory and recording it and talking about, which item means what, where it comes from, why I got it, when I got it, right? To prove a point. And I was going to, of course, upload that to YouTube. And then I was thinking about sending the videos to Robin Walker and Valve and other fucking employees there, right? To prove a fucking point. To prove a point that this is how serious I am about making this game playable again. I'm willing to delete literally these items that I've collected over years of having this current account, right? Over years of playing this game, I'm willing to delete every single item I have to prove a fucking point, right? Now, again, I don't know if I'm going to do that, but I think if there's one thing that would, kind of make Valve be like, oh shit, is people deleting their fucking inventories. So that way, Valve can't possibly profit from in-game trading or anything like that. To prove a point. But the most important thing isn't, deleting your inventory or anything. It's just not buying or trading in a way that Valve can profit from. That's the most important part. If Valve makes money from TF2, they have literally no incentive whatsoever to make the game better. So, it's really not much else I can say. That's just it. I've pretty much said everything that I could possibly want to say regarding this. It's just, this isn't an us versus them. This is us versus Valve, right? If you want TF2 to be playable again, you have to stop giving them money from TF2. There are other shit, CSGO, fucking Dota and all that, it doesn't matter. As long as TF2 stops making money, Valve's going to realize that people are upset and people are pissed. Right? Simple as.